4.B.4 Repudiation, a talaq. Most people just say divorce. Randu mustim dalazaujan makana zaujan wanaitum mehdahuna qintaran falataqudu minhu shay'an naqudunahu Bhutanan wa Manubina wa Kefana Kurunahu wa Padafna Bandu Kumelabadan wa Kana Minkum Nithakan Ghalisa. Surah 4, ayat 20 and 21. If you wish to exchange one wife to whom you have given a considerable dowry for another, do not withhold anything from this dowry. Would you take something of it back, knowing that you commit an injustice and a manifest sin? How could you take some of it back when you have given yourselves to one another, and they have received from you a solemn compact? So there's the plural in the text. Well, there can be the divorce of more than one person at once. So, one khiftum shiqaqa bainahuma fa'atu hakaman min ahlihi wa hakaman min ahliha in yurida islahan yuwafiqillahu bainahuma inna Allaha kana aliman khabira wa inna zambu talaqa fa inna Allaha sami'un alim wa in yatafaraqa yughnillahu kullan min sa'atihi wa kana Allahu wasi'an hakima wa in imra'atun khafat min ba'liha nushuzan aw i'radan fala junaha alayhim an yasalaha bainahuma sulhan wa salihu khairun wa uhdiratil anfusu shuha wa Surah 4, ayat 35. If you fear an incompatibility between man and wife, send them an arbiter from the family of the husband and another chosen from the wives. If they decide in favor of reconciliation, God will restore harmony between them. For God of all of you is aware. Surah 2, ayat 227. If they intend to divorce, God hears and knows all. Surah 4, ayat 130. If they separate, God, by his power, will enrich each of them by his favor. God is ubiquitous and wise. Surah 4, ayat 128. If a woman fears lest her husband forsake her or ill-use her, it is no sin in them both that they put an end to their union through a transaction, for a transaction is good. Men, to sinu wa tataqu fanala kana bimma ta'amaluna khabir. At-talaqu maratane fa'imsakun bima'rufin aw tasrihun bihsanin wala yahillu lakum man taqudu mimma ataytumunna shay'an illa an yaqafa la yuqima hududallahi iftuma yuqima hududallah fala junaha alayhim fima iftadat bitilka hududallah fala ta'taduha وَمَنْ يَتَعَدَّ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ لِلَّذِينَ يُؤْلُونَ مِنْ نِسَائِهِمْ تَرَبُّصُ أَرْبَعَةِ أَشْهُرٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ are prone to avarice, but if you act kindly and fear God, God will know what you will do. Surah 2, ayat 229. Repudiation, divorce, may be pronounced twice. You can either take back your wife without harming her, or set her free with kindness. It is not lawful for you to take anything of what you have given your wives, unless both of you fear that you cannot keep within God's laws, literally God's bounds, by prolonging your matrimonial relationship. And in this case, whatever does the wife to buy back your freedom will not be a sin against you both. These are God's laws. Do not violate them. Those who violate God's laws are the unjust. Surah 2, ayat 226. Those who, in relation to their wives, have sworn to remain continent, in contradistinction to Nahara, assimilate by oath one's wife to one's mother, may wait 4 months. If they break their oath during that time, God is clement and merciful. We find some of the groups like Jamaat Tabligh and some others that use this as a guideline, that that's the maximum that they go out on their mission trips and stuff. فَإِنْ طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِنْ بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ فَإِنْ طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَّا أَنْ يَتَرَاجَعَا إِنْ ظَنَّا أَنْ يُقِيمَا حدود الله وتلك حدود الله يبينها لقوم يعلمون والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن ثلاثة قرون ولا يحل لهن أن يكتمن ما خلق الله في أرحامهن إن كنا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر وبولاتهن أحق بردهن في ذلك إن أرادوا إصلاحا ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجات والله عزيز حكيم. Surah 2, ayat 230. If the husband cast off his wife a third time, he cannot take her back unless she marry another man. Literally, she takes another husband besides him. If the latter divorce her too, it is no sin in them both to reunite in wedlock. Literally come back together again. If they think they can keep within God's laws, such are the laws which God explains to a well-advised people. Surah 2, ayat 228. Divorced women must wait until 3 monthly periods are elapsed before they can dispose of their own selves. It is not lawful for them to hide what God has created in their wombs. If they believe in God at the last day, their husbands are better entitled than others to take them back during that time if they are prompted by better feelings towards them. Women in marriage have rights in so much as they are reasonable, equal to their duties. Nevertheless, the men have precedence over the women. God is mighty and wise. وَإِذَا طَلَقْتُمْ النِّسَاءَ فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ سَرِّحُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَا أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ يَعِظُكُمْ به واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بكل شيء عليم وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعدوهن أن ينكحن أزواجهن إذا تردوا بينهم بالمعروف ذلك يوعظ به من كان منكم يؤمن بالله واليوم. Surah 2, Ayat 231, 233. If the women you have repudiated have reached the prescribed term, then take them back or set them free willingly. Do not take them back maliciously in order to harm them. Whoso does that wrongs himself. Take not God's precepts lightly. Remember God's favors to you, the book and the wisdom he has sent you to exhort you. Fear God and know that God all things does know. If the women you have divorced have reached the term of their retirement, their waiting period, do not prevent them from taking new husbands if they are agreed with each other suitably. This warning applies to those of you who believe in God and in the last day. This is more proper and more pure for you. God knows and you do not know. And let us remember that in Islam, that part in the marriage that we see in the West of anybody has any objections, well, not even the family can stop the marriage just because they don't, if it's in consent of the woman and she's been talked to privately, that's verified that, and it's, in her interest, you leave it alone. Divorced mothers must suckle their children 2 whole years. If the time of suckling, they may suckle them at the time of suckling. Allah khair dhalikum azkalakum wa haru wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun wal walidatu yurdi'anna awladahunna hawlayn kamilayn liman aradan يتم رداءة ولو مولد له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف ولا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها لا تدار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده ولو ورث مثل ذلك فإن أراد فصالا antaranin minhu watashaun falajunahaleim wainarantum antastardeu auladakum falajunahalekum idha salamtum mataitum بالمعروف واتقوا الله واعلم أن الله بما تعملون بصير is to be complete. The fathers will provide their wives with food and clothing in reason. None will be asked for more than he can afford to give, so that the child will not be prejudicial to either mother or father. The same is incumbent on the father's heir if, after weighing the circumstances on both sides, both parties decide by mutual consent to wean the child, it shall be no sin against them. If you wish to put your children out to nurse, it will be no sin against you if you give to the nurse what you have promised willingly. Fear God and know that he sees perfectly what you do. Wallahi ya'isna min al-mahid min nisaikum in yurtabtum fa'idatunna thalathatu washudin wallahi lam yahidna wa'ulatul ahmali ajaluhunna anyadana hamlahunna waman yataqallaha yanjal lahu min amrihi yusra. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu idza talaqtumun nisaa fataliqunna li'idatihinna wa ahsul idata wa taqullaha rabbakum la tudrejunna min buyutihinna wala yakhrujna lan yatina bifahishatin mubayyinatin wa tilka hududullahi wa man yatada hududullahi faqad zalama nafsahu la tadri la yuhdatu ba'da dhalika amra fa idza balagna ajalahunna famsikuhunna. Surah 65, Ayat 4. Such as your women who despair of menstruation or have not yet menstruated, their term of retirement will be 3 months to dispel any doubt. And in some cultures that have been encountered, people would marry people before they hit puberty, like in the West, before there was laws all over Europe and America. It was so people who were part of those marriages. But the consummating marriage, like we've seen Surah 4, would be when they've reached, the age of marriage and the terms and stuff. In some narrations, there's no way that that can be younger than 13. The retirement of pregnant women will last till they have laid down their burden. God will make life easy for those who fear him. Surah 65, Ayat 1-3. O thou prophet, when you repudiate your women, make it possible for them to accomplish their retirement and count the days thereof, so as not to miss the opportunity of taking them back. Well, are making it known that they are, being treated right, that they will know that things have been accomplished according to proper terms for themselves. Fear God, your Lord. Drive them not out of their homes, and let them leave their houses only if they have committed manifest adultery. I think the term is lewdness, not adultery, but such are God's laws. Who contravenes God's laws would wrong himself. You, well, thou and you, it's, choice of words, right? What to translate with is the same thing. Know not whether God may not bring about some new event thereafter, whether you might be reconciled to each other. Bima'rufin aw fariquhunna bima'rufin wa ashidu dhawi adlin minkum wa qimu shahadatallahi dhalikum yu'adhu bihi man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir wa man yattaqillaha yanjallahu makhraja wa yarzuqhu min haythu la yahtasibu wa man yatawakkal 'alallahi fahuwa hasbuhu innallaha balaghun amrahu qanjalalahu bikulli shay'in qadir. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu idza nakahtumul mu'minati thumma talaqtumuhunna min qabli an tamasuhunna fama lakum alayhinna min iradin ta'tadunaha famatihunna wasarihunna sarahan jamila. When they have carried out their retirement, take them back willingly or set them free gladly. Bring as witnesses upright persons chosen from amongst you, and let their testimony be given before God. This warning is addressed to those who believe in God and in the last day. For whomsoever fears him, God will always make an issue and will provide for him by such means as he expected not. Whosoever relies on God, he is sufficient for him. God will always attain his purpose, and for everything he has set a period. Surah 33, ayat 49. O you believers, when you wed believing women and divorce them without having consummated marriage, literally before you have touched them, but there's a connotation to the touch, right? You need prescribe no retirement for them, wherever you would count the days. Make them a useful gift, and with kindness give them back their freedom. Askinuhunna min haythu sakantum min wujdikum wala tudarunna la tudayiqu alayhinna wan kunna ulati hamlin fanfiqu alayhinna Hata yandana hammahunna fa'in ardana lakum fatuhunna ujurahunna wa tamiru bainakum bima'rufin wa in tasartum Pasaturdea lahu ukra. لينفق ذو سعة من سعته ومن قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا. Surah 65, Ayat 6 and 7. Let the women you have divorced dwell in the manner you dwell yourselves, and according to your means do not harm them by housing them too straight. If they be pregnant, then provide for them till they lay down their burden. If they suckle your offspring, come to a reasonable agreement with them on the remuneration due to them. But if you be in difficulties over this agreement, let the father have the child suckled by another woman. Let him who has riches give according to his means. He whose means are restricted should proportion his gift to what God has given him. God compels no one to give beyond what has been granted him. God will make ease after hardship. لا جناح عليكم من طلقتم النساء ما لم تمسوهن أو تفرضوا لهن فريضة ومتعوهن على الموسع قدره وعلى المقتر قدره متاعا بالمعروف حقا على المحسنين وإن طلقتموهن من قبل أن تمسوهن وقد فرضتم لهن فريضة فالنصف ما فرضتم إلا أن يعفون أو يعفو والذي بيده عقدة النكاح وأن تعفوا أقرب للتقوى ولا تنسوا فضل بينكم وإن Allah bima ta'maluna basir. Surah 2, 241. To divorced women, a useful gift is due, reckoned in season, reckoned in reason. It is a duty on those that fear God. Surah 2, 236, 237. It is no sin in you if you repudiate the women with whom marriage has not been consummated or dowry settled for them. Make them a useful and liberal gift, the rich man according to his wealth, the poor man within his means. This is a duty upon them who behave righteously. If you repudiate them ere you have consummated marriage, but after you have settled the dowry for them, then forego the half thereof unless they remit it, or he, a husband according to certain commentators, the wali, on whom depends the marriage, literally those in whose hand is the conclusion of the marriage. Well, the guardian of the ceremony, really. Remit the whole of it. Oh, well, no, it's the married people. So, yeah. To remit is nearer to piety. Forget not generosity between you. God sees perfectly what you do. الذين يظهرون منكم من نسائهم ما هن أمهاتهم إن أمهاتهم إلا اللائي ولدناهم وأنهم ليقولون منكرا من القول وزورا وإن الله لعفو غفور. waladina yazaharna yazaharuna min nisaihim thumma yauduna lamma qalu fatahriru raqabatin min qabli an yatamassa dhalikum tuwazuna bihil wallahu bimma ta'ammaluna khabir faman lam yanjid fasiyamun shahrain mutatabain min qabli an yatamassa faman lam yastati'afat amusitina miskinan dalika لتؤمنوا بالله ورسوله وتلك حدود الله وللكافرين عذاب أليم. Surah 58, ayat 2-4. Those among you who upon oath assimilate their wives to their mothers so as to repudiate them, even though they are not their mothers, and when their mothers are those who gave them birth, speak a blameworthy speech and a false one, but God is indulgent and forgiving. Those who, in order to repudiate them, assimilate upon oath their wives to their mothers, and then go back from their speech, must emancipate the slave before the couple resume sexual intercourse. This is the warning given you. God of what you do is aware. He who finds no slave he can emancipate must fast for 2 consecutive months before the couple can resume sexual intercourse. He who is unable to carry out this fast will feed 60 poor folk. This relief, literally this, is granted you that you may believe in God and in this prophet. These are the laws of God. For them who violate them is grievous punishment. And people say, no divorce by insult.